Alright people, today we're going to talk about 7 things that I wish I knew before I started keeping fish. Let's just get straight into it. Now, the first thing that I wish I knew is the importance of research. Now, I know this seems very straightforward and logical, but people, I'm telling you, sometimes when you're in a fish store and you see a fish, like the danger of impulse buying is so real. I mean, recently I just bought the stormy catfish, which essentially is going to get big enough to eat all of the fish in that fish tank. Same thing with my moray eel. Like, I just bought my moray eel and put it in a community tank. Luckily, it ended up working out. However, it could have gone wrong as well. So yeah, research is incredibly important for numerous reasons. I mean, it's not just the tank mates that you need to think about. Certain fish need certain water parameters. They need certain temperatures. Then, of course, there's also the tank mate thing. Are they gonna get eaten or are they gonna eat other fish? And sometimes there's even the case where the fish will be alright with other fish, but it will not be alright with its same species. One of the most famous examples being the Siamese fighting fish. The males anyway. You can keep females together, but if you put 2 males in a tank, yeah, that's gonna go really bad. But yeah, point number 1 is always do your research. Now, the second thing that I wish I knew is the importance of picking the right tank, and more specifically, the right tank size. You see, the size of your fish tank can make a very big difference. I mean, for one, it has a very big impact on the type of fish you can keep. Naturally, in a smaller fish tank, you can only keep small fish, and in a bigger fish tank, you can keep the bigger fish. However, there's also many other things. For example, people might be surprised to hear this, but a small fish tank is actually much more maintenance. You see, in a small fish tank, there's less water, which means it's easier for that water to get dirty. The bigger your fish tank, the more water you have and the longer it will take for that water to get dirty, meaning there's actually less maintenance. And yeah, people, I can't lie, I was really surprised when I found that out. Now, for me personally, I don't actually mind, because the benefits of having a small tank is you get to keep some nano fish and they are really cool, so I love it. However, if you're someone who just wants to get a fish tank and you just want one so you can have some cool fish and you don't really want to maintain it a lot, yeah, you might want to go for a bigger tank. This also kind of ties in with the research. If you're looking to get your first fish tank, people, make sure you do some research on the fish you actually want to keep. Now, the reason I say that is, for example, let's say you want to keep Congo tetras. Congo tetras are really cool and they're really amazing. However, they do grow quite big as an adult, considering they're a tetra. They grow about this big. So if you want to keep a nice school of Congo tetras, you probably won't be able to keep them in a Fluval Flex, and you will most likely need something like a Fluval Roma 200. So yeah, if you know beforehand what kind of fish you want to keep, it will help you make a decision for what kind of fish tank to go for. Let's move on to the next point that I wish I knew about before I started keeping fish, and that is the importance of maintenance. Now, the maintenance itself is not actually that hard. It's essentially just water changes and, you know, trimming the plants and everything like that. The main thing really is getting into that routine. The way I do it for me is I have a specific day, which is my maintenance day. It's not always the same day every week. It kind of depends on my schedule, but I will set a whole day aside to do all of my maintenance, because as I'm sure most of you will know, if you don't keep up with your maintenance, there's a chance your tank will get an ammonia spike and you could end up losing some fish. Now, of course, doing water changes isn't the only part of maintenance. There's also things like keeping on top of the plants, making sure you keep them trimmed so they don't go out of control, and of course the algae on the glass. Man, I can feel my voice is slowly starting to go again. People, can you believe I've been ill for over a month? This is long. But yeah, anyway, like I was saying, keeping the water parameters correctly and everything is essential, people. Keep on top of your maintenance. Now, the fourth thing that I wish I knew before I started keeping fish is the importance of having a proper feeding schedule, or just don't overfeed your fish. If you are new to the fish keeping hobby, there's a chance you are probably overfeeding your fish. And yeah, people, you don't want to do that because it can lead to quite a few health problems. You see, fish, they pretty much go by instinct, and whenever you give them food, they are going to eat it. And the bad thing is, some of these fish will keep eating until their belly literally bursts. And this is where the problems kind of start, because people will feed their fish like 3 times per day and they will see that the fish are eating the food, so they think, oh yeah, good, the fish were hungry. But people, honestly, they don't need to eat that much. I mean, I feed all of my fish once per day and they all seem perfectly happy. Now, before we carry on, people, if you are enjoying this video and you're finding this helpful, then let me know by leaving a like or a comment, and And if you want to see more videos like this every single week, then please remember to subscribe. It really helps me out. Now, the fifth thing that I wish I knew is the importance of keeping an eye out for illness. And this is when you're in the fish store. It seems pretty straightforward to not go for a fish that looks kind of ill. But the other thing that you also don't want to do is pick another fish from that same fish tank. Because remember, they are all in the same water. And if one fish is ill, it could mean that all of the fish are ill. And if you pick up a fish from that tank, you could potentially make your entire fish tank ill or sick. Now, one way to tackle that is, of course, by quarantining your fish. However, I am aware that not everyone can do that. I mean, me personally, I don't have any quarantine tanks, but I do eventually want to get a quarantine tank so I can do this thing properly, because diseases, they can spread around your whole fish tank and they can cause some serious problems. So yeah, when you're in the fish store looking at some fish, keep an eye out for the diseases or illnesses. Now, the sixth thing that I wish I knew before I started keeping fish is the cost of maintaining fish tanks. You see, setting up the fish tank in itself is already really expensive. I'm gonna make a video on how much it cost me to set up a Fluval Roma 240. If it's out by the time you're watching this video, I'll put it up here somewhere. But yeah, it costs a lot of money just setting up the fish tank itself. However, maintaining it all also costs quite a bit of money. I mean, for one, the electricity bills, the water bills of always topping it up with water and that. It's seriously something you should consider if those bills are something that you are struggling with. Now, also, of course, buying new fish. You're not just going to buy 2 fish and then just leave it there. You're probably going to keep buying fish as time goes on, and as fish pass away and it opens up space again and you become more experienced, you may even buy more expensive fish. Then there's the filter media. You need to replace the food and all of that. If you start going for fish that have a different diet, like for example like a moray eel, which needs to eat protein based food, like the cost of your food might go up as well. So just keep that in mind, people. Whenever you buy any kind of animal, really, you're not just buying it and that's it. There is a cost that does carry on for as long as you have that animal. Oh my god, my throat is really starting to hurt. Maybe I should stop pushing my voice so much while my voice is still recovering, but I don't know, I just need to catch up with the YouTube again, man. But yeah, anyway, the final point that I wanted to talk about, or the final thing that I wish I knew before I started keeping fish, is don't be discouraged by setbacks. People, things will happen in your fish tank. Fish will die, you will get some diseases, you may get a fish that might eat another fish. And people, these things can happen even if you do everything correctly. But the most important thing is that you learn from your experience. So if you did make a mistake, that was definitely your fault. Learn from those experiences. But if you've done everything correctly and something still goes wrong, like one of your favorite fish dies, people just understand that these things happen. And the only thing you can do is, you know, accept it, really, because if you can't accept the fact that fish will die, you may become very miserable whilst keeping fish. Because for the first 2 years of keeping fish, I lost a lot of them, people. Remember to leave a like if this video helped you out. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this every single week. And if you want to see the day I added a snakehead into my community fish tank, then click right here.